Hello. I hope I can say hello again because the prior 6 videos lead up to this, our last video, and they build on each other. In the prior video, I shared how I used goggles attached to the computer to evaluate students' visual efficiency. In this video, I will show you how you can evaluate eye movements at home without the computer. If you are the reader with a problem, you can record yourself reading with the book just under eye level. Are your eyes going back over the print, the regressions? Do they look loose in the socket? Are the eyes looking directly at the print in the center, or are they looking out at the periphery? When I taught a combination kindergarten first grade class, I had an autistic boy as a kindergartner and then as a first grader the next year, and I saw that he read out of the bottom of his eyes, looking downward. We taped across the bottom of glasses frames and corrected that. If the reader is reading in the periphery, you could tape the sides of the lenses or push out the lenses of sunglasses with thick sides. Twice over the years, I discovered students who read better with the book upside down. You see, our practice of reading print left to right and going top to bottom on the page is cultural. Some cultures read top to bottom, going right to left across the page. For kindergarten and first graders who are new to reading, this has to be taught. But one of these students was a 6th grade girl, and the computer software with the lighted slot I mentioned in the previous video helped this. So be aware that this can happen. I like to test all my students' eyes for near or far-sighted problems. You can print a free online Snellen eye chart. You know, the chart that starts with the big E that eye doctors use. Then you can see if the reader simply has a vision problem with distance. Then I check the eye movements of all my students, whether with a computer as I described or doing the following. Glue a pom-pom on the end of a pencil or a stick or a long straw and hold this about 12 to 16 inches from the eyes and move it 12 inches across, up and down, and on the diagonals. Note any time the eyes can't follow. If there is a problem, do 2 repetitions of each movement each day. Also, do a few minutes a day of focusing on the letters on a pencil and then on a number on a clock or something on the wall. Repeat that 10 to 15 times. Also, you can do right and left box and figure 8 movements for a few minutes a day. Mostly we've dealt with readers with visual efficiency problems who make up about 75% of dyslexics. Let's look at how we can help those other readers who are slow and cautious, making few mistakes, the P-dyslexics, who do not seem to have a visual efficiency problem. Remember that most language functions are in the left hemisphere, and the P-dyslexic needs to use that hemisphere more. You may remember this shift from right to left hemisphere dominance usually occurs at the end of first grade, and this reader may not have made this shift. This is where the neurological impress method is most helpful. It is a form of echo reading. It requires a good reader to help the struggling reader. If you are alone, you could use a book and the recording of it, but still follow these directions. Have the good reader or the book recording on the right side of the struggling reader, with his or her mouth a little distance behind the struggling reader's right ear. The book is held between them, and the good reader slides his or her finger under the print while reading at a good pace. The struggling reader tries to read along, echoing what is read. It's good to do this about 5 to 10 minutes a day, printing words on the struggling reader's brain and stimulating the left hemisphere. One caveat, this method is not meant to be used to simply help a good reader become a fast reader, but instead is to help stimulate the left hemisphere of a struggling reader. Phonics is a function of the left hemisphere, so P-dyslexics may need help with phonemic awareness, which is considered the best indicator of future reading success. This is different from letter identification. It is the actual ability to hear sounds. Do the following to test to see if the reader has trouble with this. Number 1, do 2 words rhyme? For example, joke, poke, lip, right, bug, lug. Number 2, can the reader blend sounds into words as you stretch out sounds? For example, E into B. Number 3, can the reader isolate sounds, telling sounds in each part of a word? Don't stretch the sounds, but ask for the sounds at the beginning, middle, and end of simple words, such as bat. To treat this problem, you could, number 1, read books and poems with sounds. My favorite, A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein. Mine's dog-eared from use. Number 2, read books with much predictable repetition and rhyming. For example, the Eric Carle books, excellent. In an earlier video, I mentioned Frank Laubach, the psychologist who discovered why so many of his patients had reading problems. I particularly like this book of his, with lots of rhyming written for non-English speaking people and other struggling readers. Number 3, practice matching sounds. What words start with? Pick a sound. Number 4, recognize objects as words are stretched out. Objects on the table, for example, book. Parts of the body are things in the room, objects not in the room, are. I found it helps some readers to think of where and how the sound is made. For example, vowels are sounds made with an open mouth, not blocked by the tongue, teeth, or lips. A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O. If they have trouble distinguishing between the short E and the short I, which is common, stretch out the mouth for the short E, and wrinkle the nose for the short I, Consonants are blocked by the tongue, teeth, or lips. If they have trouble with TH, have them stick their tongue out between their teeth. Some words have TH voiced with the throat vibrating then, and some have TH unvoiced, just blowing out thin. You may have to work on other voiced and unvoiced sounds, such as b, t, d. There are some students who have trouble with auditory processing because of the speed at which sounds are presented, and they need help to hear the sounds. Consonants are spoken at a faster pace than vowels, and this may make it more difficult to recognize consonants, particularly when some of the sounds are masked by other sounds, such as we learned happens when some letters in the periphery are masked to sight by other letters. The reader without a problem can hear the sound presented before another sound, but may have trouble with those occurring at the same time as another or coming after. But the reader with a problem cannot hear the sound in any position with another, but can hear the louder one better. So the treatment is to speak important information in a louder voice, use a slower pace of conversation, and have fewer distracting noises. For some readers, the task of writing interferes with the reading process. So it's best for those to not write during reading sessions and to not take notes during lectures. Well, dear reader, I hope that these videos have helped you and that you are on your way to enjoying the wonderful world of reading. Thank you for coming along with me. God bless you.